Do you regret that he has changed his position, or do you regret that he had that original position in the first place?
On what exactly?
On the 2020 election, for saying that it was that challenging it for 3 years, but then saying actually it was long over even before he said it was over.
Well, I don't think Joe Biden got 81 million votes, to be quite honest with you. So that doesn't really change my perspective.
Do you think Donald Trump beat Hillary Clinton in 2016?
Absolutely.
So why do you accept that result and not the one in 2020?
Well, when you look at the hike in, where it happened overnight, that's really suspicious to me when we're looking at Dominion voting, when you really look at the history of it.
But Dominion voting was won a massive lawsuit for being, slandered because it turned out they didn't do anything. All the courts found that everything was on the up and up.
I would disagree.
MAGA supporters keep getting the rug pulled out from under them after parroting Donald Trump's ever-changing declarations about the 2020 election. And you won't be surprised that his story changes based on what he's arguing for in court. So after 3 years of yelping about a stolen election, he's declaring that the election was long over by the time he began pushing state officials to overturn it. And with this opposite tactic, he's claiming that he wasn't a candidate anymore, but acted as president, so his attempts should be immune from criminal charges. So now, it's time for his followers to scramble for an answer that he hasn't given them yet.
At the end of the day, I think where all went wrong was when we started to do everything electronically, and I think that can have a lot of negative effects on the American voting system.
What may have negative effects on the American voting system is nearly an entire political party falsely and baselessly telling their voters that the election was stolen when they know it wasn't. What may also be detrimental is the grocery store bag method of collecting votes, which apparently works for Iowa caucus goers. Republicans' confidence in voting doesn't come from people looking into and verifying the process. It comes from simply trusting the officials that they think share Trump's political beliefs. If he actually won in 2020, Fox News wouldn't have had to pay Dominion Voting Systems $787 million for lying about them, and their audience would call it a legit process.
Biden won because of COVID. They didn't produce a record amount of voters. They produced a record amount of ballots. And then everybody sat around for 4 months in their houses and apartments while the ballots got harvested. That's how they won.
Someone should tell Jesse Waters that Fox News was forced to move on from that expensive narrative before he gets tuckered. But it never really matters now that the lies are embedded as fact for supporters. Because even though their president has flip-flopped on this, there's always an off-ramp of unrelated backup excuses to pacify them.
Them putting the Hunter Biden story, not saying it's all lies. When it came out, it's all fact. That's election interference. That's changing the vote. That's propaganda. So you may not have changed the votes or hidden the votes or slid more votes in, but by doing that, it's election interference. I call that not fair play.